So the problem we're having now is if I refresh my page, the tab goes back to this one. Okay, so I want whatever tab I was on will be the tab that's active when I refresh the page. So we can do that using JavaScript or PHP. When it comes to PHP, we can add a query string in there so that when we click on one of these, it actually refreshes the page. And when it refreshes the page, it adds a query string to the end there, which tells us what tab we are on. Now that removes the feel of it being an app, because these things are loaded all at once. We don't have to go back to the server to reload. So what I want us to do instead is use JavaScript so that we can easily move around here, but still remember where we were. So to use JavaScript, and the problem with JavaScript is every time we refresh the page, all the JavaScript information is lost. But I think that was changed though. Maybe we can refresh the page without having to lose information. I'm not sure about that, but let's put it to the test, shall we? So what I'm going to do is let's go to print the profile view page. So right here, what I want us to do is create a variable, and I'm going to create a var and call it tab is equal to, and then give it a value. So tab is equal to, let's call it tab1, like so. Okay. But then if this doesn't exist, I'll put an or statement, and wait a minute. This won't work actually. Let's see here. Let's call this default right here. So this is the default value. So I'm going to copy this and put that there like this. Okay. So what I'm saying is that the variable here should be equal to tab if tab already exists. But if it doesn't, set it to default value. Okay. Yeah, this still won't work at all. Okay, so what I'll do is this. I'll just come here and save this as tab1. Okay, so let me load the page. Now, if I go to the console right now, you see that I have a thing here where I can run some code. You can run the code directly here, but I've opened this side tab here. So I can just say tab here and press enter, or run this, and it will show me that tab is equal to tab1 here, which is good. Now I want to submit this page and try to redo this. Wait a minute, where are the, oh, okay. So I'm going to go here and click save, right? So the page has refreshed. Good. So let's see if it will show me tab again. So if I click run, it's still tab1. So that's good. So which means refreshing keeps, these days it works. So it keeps the tab we are on. So that's nice. I don't have to use session. I thought I would have to use the local session, but that's good. So at least we know what tab we are on. So let's name these tabs. These tabs have names, I guess. So the original tab should be so here I'll copy this. If tab does not exist, we'll do this, and tab is equal to tab, or let's see what tab names exist here. Okay, so there's this one, there's overview, so there's profile overview, so that's this one. Great. Let me actually just, okay, there we go. So I'll copy that. This should correspond to let's see, BS target, get attribute. You know, I forgot how to use this data attribute thingy, but it's okay. We're going to figure it out. So I want to save this value here. So I'll copy that and come down here. This should be the the default tab. So I'll put that tab here. Alrighty then. So now I can say when we click, so I'll put a function here and say set tab. Okay. And then we'll put the tab name here, tab. And then we're just going to say tab is equal to whatever tab we were given here. Why did I even put that? This is not PHP, but it would still work though, because the $sign means nothing in JavaScript. Okay, so we will have a function that will set the tab and give us the tab name that we have set it to. Okay, and then at this point we can have an alert to tell us what tab is at that point. All right, so I'm going to copy this function and put it on the click event of one of these guys, so that when we click on a tab here, we are actually saving the tab name as well. So they're right here. This is where those tabs live. So I'll put an on-click listener on each of these buttons. So clickety clickety, and say on click, and then say set tab, and then instead of tab name we will say, oh wait, oh no, I want to grab this right here, the target. So I'll just say this dot get attribute. I don't remember, this should be an easy way to get these attributes with data at the beginning, but I can't remember. So no problem, I'll just say get attribute. I'll just write the whole thing, database target, like that. Great. So whatever the attribute name, we'll send it through there and we are good to go. So I'll refresh my page like this and then click on one of these and it says profile overview. That's nice. Click on this, profile edit. So at least now it knows where we are, profile settings, and finally this one, profile change password. Okay, good. So now we'll go to Bootstrap, because remember this is a Bootstrap template, so we can check how we can activate one of these using JavaScript without having to click on it. So I'm going to go to the docs here and I want to go to navs and tabs, because this is where it explains. Usually at the end we get some JavaScript. So let's see here. So show BS tab, these are things. Now what I want is, okay, so tab.show is how you do it. So select the given tab, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it looks pretty easy to do. So I'm just going to grab this and copy. I can actually copy just here. This is how we show the tab. So come down here. And then we're going to load the original tab here. So when we load originally, if we reload, we should have the original tab name if tab already exists, or the first one here, the default one. So regardless what we have, I want us to say, let's create a function called show tab, so that we can just call it when we want to show a specific tab that we want. So this one will be tab underscore name, like this. And then what we'll do is we'll do that. And by the way, this one, the others have a hashtag at the beginning, so I should put that one there as well. So what we'll do is you see here, this is how we get the appropriate tab. So just grab tab name because it has that and put it here to replace this text. And then we'll leave the variables as they are because, yeah, why not? And then tab.show. So show tab, give it the name of the tab, and that's it. So I'll do this right at the end here after the window has loaded. So I'll create a function here and say window.onload is equal to function. So we're supplying a function that will work when the window is loaded. And I'll say show tab and whatever tab is at that time. Goodie. Okay, so let's see if this works. When we refresh, we should see exactly the same tab we were on. So click on this tab. Let me refresh so that that is gone. Oh, apparently. So let me save now. That didn't work at all. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Alert tab. Okay. So let me check what's going on. So I'll click on this tab. Let me refresh just to make sure. I'll click on this tab. So correctly it says profile edit. Then let me inspect the element, go to console, and then click on save changes. And then let me see what tab has at this point. Okay, so it's profile overview. So it resets to the beginning. Why is that? So it resets. So this is my problem with programming. So instead of or, let me put two question marks there. I don't know if this works in JavaScript, but let's see. Bad request. Wait, what? Okay, that was crazy. Let me click here, profile edit. Let's refresh. And then let's see what tab has. No, that doesn't work either. Okay, so we need a way so I'll just put an if statement, I guess. So let's do that. I'll come here and say if type of tab is equal to undefined. So what I'm saying here is that if tab does not exist, then create it. So I'll move this here. So tab is equal to this one. I think this should be more robust. Okay, let's try. So refresh the page, go to edit, profile edit, and let's see if it's still profile edit. That's good. Let's save and then try again. It's profile overview. Why? That's crazy. Okay, what I want is an alert here to show me when this is happening. Okay, so I can see what's going on. Also, I want to see if show tabs is actually working. So what I'll do is I'll put a tab here called profile edit, so that we see if we can go to profile edit immediately, regardless what happens. Okay, so let me refresh the page. So there it has loaded. That's good. So show tab did not work. T is no. That's what it's saying. Type error. And this is in the selector engine, so it can't find this guy. Now, the reason it can't find these profile edit and stuff is because really they are not IDs. It's trying to grab query selector with an ID. So let's make sure that we put those IDs there as well. So let's go. Let me find these guys. So let's find where this is used again. It's only in these two places. And let's see if there's something that has this as an ID. Profile edit. Okay, it does have an ID here of profile edit. Okay, so what we will do is let's grab these guys. So I'll get this. We need a way to capture these with an ID. So I want to use these same values. So what I'll do is I will put an ID on this thing. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but let's try and do it. So let's change this to match this one. All right, so edit, and then this one, wait a minute. Okay, profile settings. So we're just trying to get a way to identify these, to grab them one by one, because that's what's required. So I'm just going to copy this here and put it there as well. So all I've done is add some IDs to these tabs, and those IDs correspond to this attribute, data BS target, so that I can grab them and then use the same thing here. So what I'll do after this is, let me go down here. First of all, I need to know if what I'm doing is actually working at all. And then instead of what I've been trying to do here, I am going to instead, try to use sessions instead of what I've been doing here. So what I'm going to do is, let me try and put profile edit here. That way I can see if this whole process will work, because if I assign profile edit, which is the second tab, it means immediately we load the page, it should move to that section after the alert, of course. So let's see if that will work. So I'm going to refresh the page and I see the alert, and then it moves to profile edit. But unfortunately, wait a minute, the tab moves to the second part, but it seems it doesn't actually change anything, so that's not good. Okay, so what to do here? Let me remove this. This is turning out to be a nightmare. Okay, so it seems it's nothing to do with this. It's just the styling there on the tabs. So it seems they're not corresponding properly. So what I'll do is, first I just need a way to save what tab I'm on. So what you do in a situation like this is, let's try and find there's, just like PHP has sessions, JavaScript has sessions as well. So let's see how the session thingy is used. JavaScript sessions, right? So let's check that out. It's important to use a lot of Google when you are coding like this, because this will build your muscle memory. You can't always remember everything, so use Google as much as possible. The sites I recommend are W3 Schools, Stack Overflow, of course, and then the Microsoft or the Mozilla Developer Network, because that's where most of this stuff is found. So this is how you save an item to a session, and this is how you get it from there. So easy peasy. Let me grab these two lines and copy those guys. You can read the other documentation, but not important for me right now. So right here, I'm going to paste these. And the first thing is I need to set, let me cut this one. So there's show tab, but then there's set tab. So tab is equal to this. Now, instead of setting it to tab like that, just to the tab name, we're going to paste like this and then say, maybe we'll call it tab even here. So this is the key and this is the value. So I'm just going to get that value and copy and paste it here. So like this. So it means in the session we save. Now remember that session data is lost once the session or the browser is closed. So that's good enough for us. We don't need it for that long, to stay longer than that. So we save that. And then when we load the page, we want to just read from there. So I'm just going to say var tab is equal to, okay, session, and then let's say tab here. Now it's possible that this will be undefined. So if it's undefined, then let's set it to this one. So I'm just going to copy that and put the question mark and say one question mark like this, and put the full colon and then paste. Oh, this is supposed to be text, right? So like that. And this is actually, it's not profile edit. It's profile, what's the first one here? If I am not mistaken, overview. So it's profile overview. That's the default version. So down here, let's put profile overview and paste. Okay, great. So we don't need this baby no more. Out of here. Okay, goody. So once we save, oh, this if statement isn't complete, we will do that. So we're going to say if tab is set in this session, if this returned a result, then set it to that. If not, set it to this. So great, this should work just fine. So for now, even though those tabs are not working as intended, at least we can see that they are changing. So there we go. So if I click on settings here and refresh the page, I should get back to settings. Oh, sorry about that. Down here we've hardwired it, and this is not appropriate. So what we're supposed to do instead is set it to tab. So copy that, and I'm just going to paste this right over here. Okay, so where is show tab? Show tab is here, and yeah, that looks good. So let's try this again. If I refresh now, let's go to settings and refresh the page. It goes to settings. Let's go to change password, refresh, and it goes to change. At least now the tab memory is working as intended. But the boxes are not showing now. So the reason these guys are not moving is because these IDs we've added here correspond to the divs that these things are supposed to activate. So for example, if I select this ID here and press Ctrl F for search, I'll see that there are two matches here. So there's this item with an ID of profile overview. So IDs should be unique. So what we're going to do is right at the end here, we're going to change this at the very end, each one of these IDs, and put a dash. Let's call this one a tab. So let's just put tab at the end. So that's profile overview dash tab. So every time we have a tab here, we have to add an ID that corresponds to this, but then we add tab at the end just to make them unique. So if I come back now and refresh, you will see that things will work normally. Unfortunately, this thing won't work anymore, and that's because we have to change what the value of tab is down here. So right here where we say show tab, this is where we're showing the tab. So I'll just get the tab name, and right at the end here, I'll do a plus sign and then add dash tab like this. Okay, so great. That should work for us. And if I refresh, it's right there. If I click settings and refresh, it's right on settings. Very good. Okay, so at least now once we are on edit profile here and we click save, it will get back to the same page. Or did it? After loading anyway, it should do that. Why is it taking so long to load? This is weird. Let me try that again. Save. Okay, so my internet is slow because it's loading the fonts and all that, because this movement of the tab, as you can see, it has happened now. It happens after the page has loaded, so that way at least it knows the tabs are loaded. Or what we can do is we can add, I think it's better to add it after the loading of the page is complete, then it moves. That's much better. So at this point, this is working. Let's continue in the next video.